Hi guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. Before I begin, let me first introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Today I want to talk about or do a little bit discussion with you guys about a spiritual infection. And I know you guys don't have this word in North American, but trust me, they're everywhere in Asia. But they were often confused by possession. So I want to talk about spiritual infection, possession, and schizophrenia, and multiple personality. The reason I want to talk about it is because people often confuse with one another. And then I do have a lot of clients who got schizophrenia especially. They would believe they come to me and claim like they are being possessed by demon, etc. So I thought I would just do a really quick episode to clarify the difference, at least from my point of view, and then see if that can help you guys understand better and then see how to handle things if you can identify them. And before I begin, let me clarify again. I am not a doctor. I am not a doctor. In all time, I always recommend you to talk to a specialist. They are people who study this. They are people who devote their life to, try to help you find a solution. So do consult them. I'm just simply sharing my personal opinion from a psychic point of view. Okay? So let's just clarify that. I'm not trying to be a doctor here. Not interested to be a doctor either. But okay, so let's begin. Spiritual infection. What is spiritual infection? If you never heard of this word, here's a new one for you. Spiritual infection is basically meaning people will encounter or affected by some spirits that they may temporarily lost their own judgment, or they may have a bad luck, like something out of norm. In Asia, it's almost like a norm. People know what that meant. They have a word that you almost never heard of, that you couldn't Google it and you couldn't translate it. They simply don't know what that meant. So, does this happen? Yes. It depends on if people who have low vibration, or they have encountered bad cycle of life or something like that. So they would tend to be attract to the similar vibration system, right? So therefore, they may have a lot of spirits hanging around them. Therefore, it might impact their life. In very rare case, you would lose a period of decision, or your mind is usually because the whatever spirit that you encounter, they have a stronger thought, a stronger vibe than yours, so therefore overcome yours. What's the next one? Possession is also what you guys always understand is some spirits that powers is bigger than yours and taking over your body and mind. I already say in very, very early on episode, in old times, spirits would do that because they thought it's possible. But since the body is created very specifically for the soul only, it doesn't really work that way. If they force themselves into a outfit, a body, like they don't fit, the spirit itself experience pain and suffering because it doesn't fit. Right. So usually you would, where you see like exorcists, like distorted face, the painful, why are they always in pain? It's usually not from the spirit within, but from the one that's trying to possess it. So nowadays, when spirit got smarter, they know not to do that because they are the one who suffer. You know what I mean? They are the one who suffer. So smarter, the evolution, the ever to evolve, spirits don't possess you. What they do is they try to use their vibration or their voice to overpower you and therefore control you and make you believe you can do things. So instead of saying they are inside you, they are more like outside you, try to puppy you. Does that make sense? So Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is people who experience almost similar things as a possession, that, their minds are not their own, and then it seems like someone else, they continue switching, changing, and then, 1 minute they are this, next minute they are that. It doesn't seem like possession is very obvious. You got one domain. Someone is possessing you. In schizophrenia, it seems like people are experiencing personality change over and over and over, which is clearly not them. So, that's why people were very often confused or diagnosed schizophrenia as they are being possessed as well. I will come back and clarify what's the difference between all those four, but now I'm just kind of try to explain what it is to you guys. So multiple personality, people experience something that's very similar to schizophrenia. That is also they experience different personality that is very different from original, even including the way they talk, the way they express themselves, or the way they behave or react to certain things. So now, if I can, I hope I explained all those four correctly. If not, please go online. There's always Google. And if you want to know more about it, there's also YouTube video. That's Google. As I said, other professional out there. I advise you to seek for professional advice. I'm just coming from a psychic point of view. So now I'm going to teach you how to identify those four. Even though they feel very similar and almost feel like, sometimes it's the same, but you're not quite sure which one is which. All those four from a psychic point of view are different. I used to describe it as house. So you have to bear with me. I'm trying to come up with the analogies that work for you guys all. This is a house. So imagine your body is a house. Your body, physical body is a house. And your spirit is the owner of the house. So normal situation, there is a house and there's an owner that hosts this house. Right? Being spiritual infection is basically mean like you as a physical person, you must experience this. You have some people unwelcome coming in and out of your house, and then they come in there and then they move your furniture around without your permission. They kind of make your house messy without, they are time you are being polite. They are time you're being polite, right? Even though you really don't like whatever they're doing, you will allow them to do that, right? But the sense of ownership of the house is very strong. The sense of ownership of the house. I own this house, so when people coming in the house, I may temporarily allow them to do things, but I still have very strong sense of domain. I get irritated and I get frustrated. So therefore, your frustration, your anger, or things like that, because of all those unwelcome guests coming in and out of your house, will solely impact your life in certain degree. So that is when you are being infected spiritually. But that usually caused because you yourself is not aware of your own vibrational things like that. Therefore, you attract them to come to you. And since you don't know how to protect yourself, in real life, spiritually, if you don't know how to protect yourself, in real life, you probably don't know how to say no or protect yourself either. So that is very minor infection. All you have to do is say, sorry, this is my house. You're not welcome. Thank you, but no thank you. And kick them all out. With me, I just start with a glare. I dare you. You know what I mean? So, but that's based on I can see them. But if you're not, you usually work with your reality. If your reality know how to protect yourself, the chance is when it's spiritually, you will have that parameter around you that the spirits will try to keep away from you. But if you don't, you will be easily infected by them. Like in the reality language we call, you guys call, or I call, that person is so negative. Right? I'm impacted by it. I'm always bothered. I'm so sensitive. I'm always bothered by negative people around me. Come on, if in reality you're already bothered by the negative people, and spiritually you will be bothered by them because it go hand in hand. So if you understand that, that is what it is. The spirit is not possessing your house. It's not taking over your house. But it simply bother you and make you feel frustrated. So now we move on to the next one. That is, what's a possession? Possession is what Westerner always call this common things. It's a possession. You're being possessed. You're being possessed. You are so out of you. You are not you. You must, behavior is out of the norm and things like that. So now I go back to the same analogy. You're the house. You're the owner. What a possession is more like someone come to you and claim the house is theirs. At the beginning, you might have a battle, say, no, that's not yours. But they look so mean, and they look so strong, and then they look so convincing. So their voice is slowly overpower you and make you believe, this is my house. This is my house. So what they do is, it would go through the process as being convincing. Usually the host with experience that I hear somebody tell me to do something. I hear someone tell me to do something. I hear I should do this. So when this whole process usually I would say last about 3 months minimum. It's not going to just boom. For someone to possess inside your house and claim the ownership. As I say, you have to understand things. You have to understand that they suffer. They usually do, not you, but they. So when you see all the scary movie, they are that's usually them. Most of spirits are better now. They're really smarter now, so they don't really try to do that. So what they do is try to convince you they own your body. I own your body. So once they start convince you, like this house is mine, not yours, which if you have a weak mind, you are tend to be convinced, okay? So then you will most likely start doing what they command you to do and then act like a servant. So instead of the owner of the house, you will behave like a servant and do whatever you are told to do. You know what I mean? Because you are convinced. So that is the possession. The behavior why would be out of norm, but usually come from one strong domain and one strong ownership. Like that ownership control this house. Even though once in a blue moon, sometime you may pick out when the fake owner is not there. You may come out and say, this is not me. This is not me. But usually it's in a very weak voice or in very low confidence of believing this is my house, get out of my house. What are you talking about? Right. So now then we want to move on to the schizophrenia. Schizophrenia sounds very similar. Very similar. So very different to begin with. There's no sense of convincing. What possession, they are actually hosts experience at least 3 months to 6 months. It really depending on their mindset and how strong they are. Of convincing period. You could see that, or you could sometimes hear that they would try to tell you, someone tell me to do something. You're like, what are you talking about? There's nobody, right? Or I hear this voice or something like that. Schizophrenia is very different. Schizophrenia starts with the host. That is the spirits may or may not experience certain trauma in their life. Therefore, they completely give up on themselves. They give up on hosting this body. They say, I'm done. I'm through, and I had nothing to do. I'm so much in pain, so I decide to go to the cellar, or maybe there's a dungeon in this house, somewhere in there, and then they decide to lock themselves up and refuse to be the owner of this house. So at this point, then you experience like the spirits come in, and everybody know that once the house is being abandoned for too long, right? Once a house is being abandoned too long and nobody's lived there, the squatter tend to come in and claim the ownership. Does that make sense to you? So those spirits will feel like a squatter. They come in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So what you experience is you will see the inconsistency of the ownership. Inconsistency, in and out. This second is very different from possession. Possession, you have very strong domain sense. You know that personality. They have very strong. personality. Why schizophrenia doesn't seem to be like that. Like 1 second it could be a little mouse, next second it could be a guy, next second it could be a girl or something. Basically what happened is this is an empty house, and then all the spirits seems to be able to control this and help them do something, or simply just to talk or whatever it is. But they can have a sense of ownership. This is my house or everybody's house. So you will have that personality change. Like it seems like they will all come out and claim the ownership. This is my house. This is my house. This is my house, right? So your house, your body will basically be an empty house because the owner, your soul, may or may not experience some kind of trauma in their life. Therefore, they give up. I give up, but they don't want to kill themselves. So they don't ever kill themselves to begin with. Let me clarify. Don't ever. But if you don't know, watch that previous episode. But that's the reason why. But owners should decide to hide themselves and don't want to come out. Therefore, you will have a lot of unwelcome visitor in and out and claim the ownership. Now, schizophrenia also feel very similar to multiple personality because, well, according to that, they got personality change back and forth, and they both claim the ownership. They are both claim the ownership, right? And then they all have strong ownership, a little bit different. I know, that's a finite difference, but I'm trying. Okay, so bear with me. So now, multiple personality. Why would people have multiple personality? That could because the soul itself experiences something very traumatic or something like so big for them to get shocked and maybe get into that mode that I don't think I can handle this. I don't think I can handle this. But instead of hiding at the basement or hiding in a dungeon and say, I give up on this body, what they do is start to recall or recollect the person that they were before in the previous life who may have the skill to handle the situation. You know what I mean? So they simply calling their own database. The feeling would be like, I am in the house, but in this house is no longer have one ownership, but you have dad, you have mom, you have brother, you have sister, you have, a dog or something. This house is hosted by many owner, but they all entitled to own this house. Why? Because it all belong to the soul. It's very different when you talk to the schizophrenia and when you talk to multiple personality. Schizophrenia, when you talk to the spirits and having interaction with spirits, you will have that sense of squatter. Even though they claim this is my house, they have a sense of knowing, no, this is not my house. Does that make sense to you? So this is not myself. So when you really have a conversation with them, you can feel like guilt. But when you talk to multiple personality, you have very strong sense of ownership. I own the house. And then that personality don't come out, feel clueless. It all seems like they show up in certain time to handle certain situation. That is very fine line, so you kind of have to pay very careful attention to it. Then you're able to identify that. But they have that strong ownership. Everybody own the house. We come out not to mess up. I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm simply acting weird or something. They usually show up to handle certain particular situation. So that is multiple personality. I know it's very similar to schizophrenia, but it's not. As a house to describe it, every character that you experience or see, they all have the ownership. Does that mean it's different spirits? No. In this case, multiple personality, those characters that they call upon are usually exist somewhere between their past life, somewhere between this particular soul's past life. So they simply calling that memory or calling back that character and ask them to be this way. I don't know how to handle this. You handle it. You go handle this. You know what I mean? So that's why they will have that some kind of blackout memory. It's like, hey, someone ring the doorbell. You go answer it. And I will stay in my room and I'll be quiet and I got no idea what's going on. You may have a fight, you may have something, but I got no idea because I choose to stay in my room. So Anyway, that is what multiple personality is. So if a lot of people come to me and want to know what's the solution to this, again, let me clarify it. I believe there's a lot of medical help that can help you with this. But from a psychic point of view, all those four things, even though it feel very different, it have the same, almost similar to solution. The same solution is one soul have a very strong confidence of I can do this and self-value. Yes, no matter how tough life is, I will be able to overcome this. I can do this, and then they have very strong sense of how to protect themselves, how to draw the boundary in the reality world. No, thank you, right? Then in spiritually, they will most likely be able to protect themselves. They will be able to fight that voice. When one spirit is very clear to their own voice, not always taking other people's opinion as their own opinion, then they will unlikely to be possessed as well, because their vibration would be stronger, more stabilized. Therefore, other spirits is hard to penetrate them. So they all require very strong sense of self and self-being, and the way they have to love themselves, like they know how to protect themselves. You know what I mean? So a lot of time people say, but it's already too late. My sister or my brother or something is already got diagnosed schizophrenia, and then I cannot communicate. There's just no way I can communicate with them. Very often, if you understand what I described, if your spirit is either possessed and being like believe this is not my house, I have no control of this, or if your spirit is hiding in dungeon and say, I cannot do this anymore, I don't care, anybody can take over my house, it doesn't matter which one, right? Or even multiple personality, and say, no, I can't do this, I gotta let my past life do it. Did you hear the consistency of things? Is when the soul doesn't believe they can. I can't. This is not my house. What are you talking about? I can't do this. It's so powerful. What can I do? Right? To build on their confidence, to build on their trust, to let them know they are not alone. Honey, you're not alone. I usually recommend you guys to call out their full name. Like, for example, Ruowen, Huang. Ruowen, Huang, come out. I want to talk to you. Like, come out, please. You call their name. What you try to do is you try to call that original spirit out. Like, you don't have to let people take care of the house for you. Don't worry about this. We are here for you, right? You will have a lot of people, if is possession or schizophrenia, you most likely will have this outsider's voice say, no, you are. No, you can. They'll try to say, no, this is my house. Shut up. I'm acting in a very nice way. Sometimes they can be really mean, just to warn you. So, they could be really mean. So they will say, shut up, just shut up. Stop calling that. Stop calling my name. They really hate it. That's because they don't want the spirit to get called out. I tell you to cut, patient, keep calling their name. Say, please come out. Please come out. I would really like to talk to you. I really like to spend some time with you. It's okay. If you can get someone to come out, when that spirit come out, you will know, especially you are someone close to them, you will know that's the true self, right? Same thing as if there are multiple personality, it's like you coming and look for so-and-so, but the dad answer the door, you can say, I'm sorry, I'm here to look for so-and-so, not you, but thank you. They're like, no. If you have anything, talk to me. You say, no, but I would really like to talk to so-and-so. And then the dad, the mom, the sister who hosted the house will say, no, just talk to me. He said, no, I would really like to talk to so-and-so. So as normal house situation, this dad, mom, brother, sister, dog answer the door, you refuse to take any otherwise. No, thank you. Can I talk to so-and-so, please? No, thank you. Can I talk to, not you, but thank you. Can I talk to so-and-so, please? Yeah, thank you, dog. You're so cute. Can I talk to so-and-so, please? You know what I mean? Eventually, they will go knock on so-and-so's room, say, your friend insists to talk to you. because all of us try to handle them, but they don't, like he or she doesn't want to talk to it. So multiple personality is actually reasonable. You just have to be patient, talk to them. Actually, all of them, you have to be patient and talk to them. But the key thing is you have to know who you are talking to. With possession and with schizophrenia, I encourage you to call them in full name. If you are aware this is not someone you're talking to. Same thing as multiple personality, right? I'm sorry, you're not the one I'm talking to, but thank you. Can I talk to that person, please? He can be nice, right? Exorcism sometimes work. It does work sometimes. It's because the believer using very strong vibration or other help to overpower that spirits that is hovering around the spirits. So it does work sometimes. But if oneself do not believe in themselves for consistency of time or period of time, they may attract certain things again. So anyway, as you will see, I'm trying to wrap it up. Even though all those things feel very different and yes, so close, the way of handling it is actually very similar. Help one spirit to help them out to find out who they are, what they are, and then let them know they are not alone. Let them know whatever you're dealing with, please don't hide. Please don't hide. Let's do this together, okay? Can we do this together? I know you're scared, but I'm scared too. Can we just be scared together instead of scared alone? So it requires a lot of patience. I mean, it's not like one visit or two visits to psychiatrists will help. I really believe what the true helps usually come from those one who's around them, like being patient with them and then walking through with them and to let them know, honey, I know you are in pain. I know his life is so hard, you choose to hide, but please understand you are not alone here. Please come out so we can do this together. So try this, and I hope this answer all your question. Holy, this is my longest episode ever. So if the ownership keep hiding and running, when do you usually see the symptoms? As I say, in the possession and possession, you will notice the symptom. You will notice symptoms. Someone's talking to me, someone's behaving. It usually can be as quick as 3 months. But I would say average is 6 months, 8 months. It really depends on how strong your owner is. Multiple personality and schizophrenia, you can usually see some kind of behavior. Like it doesn't matter how old. Sometimes people will say, but they were just a baby, but they were just kids. It doesn't matter. It's just in their mindset. They have experienced something that they believe, not what you believe. They believe so traumatized enough that they choose to hide, they will hide. So you can usually know, if you recall your life back, you can usually pinpoint or know what traumatized them, right? So remember, not in your perception, but their perception, how traumatized it is. So anyway, I can't wrap this up in 30 minutes. Holy. I hope that clarified it for you guys. Again, if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Facebook or go to subscribe my YouTube channel. Remember to watch a commercial to buy me a cup of coffee, or my Facebook, my website, ruowen.com. Till then, next time. Bye-bye.